Sup Nerdmigos, I'm the Jive talking nerd John Norgrove, and this is Nerd Jive. First up for today, 3D printed armor. Alright, so this artist, Melissa it's spelled NG, and I have no clue how that's supposed to be pronounced. But she's also known as Lumacluster, has designed, printed, and painted a set of armor she's calling the Sovereign Armor. It took about 518 hours to print in its entirety, and it's just art, man. I mean, look at it, right? It's fantastic. So it's just really good example of how new media can be used in something like that, can be used in this artistic fashion. I mean, we look at 3D printing as this industry simplification and prototyping technology, but not necessarily as like an art form. And Lumacluster is definitely proving that it can be an art form. It is beautiful. Link below, I have a Blaster article, but it also includes a YouTube video of her like printing and painting and assembling the whole thing. And it's just, man, it's like mental floss. It's so beautiful. So check that out below. So more on 3D printed news is 3D printed rockets. So MIT has successfully test fired the first, or at least so they think, the first fully 3D printed rocket with a plastic casing. So these are traditionally made of a lot of metal, and metal 3D printing is incredibly expensive, and like the machines that do it are prohibitively expensive, and so what they're trying to do is make it so that way at least parts of the rocket can be printed out of plastic, which would drastically reduce the cost. So it was only fired once successfully, and then the second fire it burned out, but that's kind of to be expected because it's made out of plastic. But it's still a huge feat of engineering, and it's a great proof of concept for something like testing new casing designs out of a specifically significantly cheaper medium. So you could redesign. Oh well, what if it was what if the exhaust port was like this, or what if the inlet was like this, or what if its internal architecture contained these things, to see what happens. And it would be you'd be able to test this in a much cheaper fashion, because the metal bits are going to be reusable. They're made out of metal, but the plastic, the casing bit, is a one-time, you collect your data, you go about your business kind of a thing. But it's that proof of concept, design flow kind of thing that is beneficial to this technology. So to continue along with rocket news, SpaceX has done it again. So Sunday morning, they were scheduled to launch the NROL-76, which is some sort of American spy satellite, from Cape Canaveral. But due to the fact that there was a faulty sensor in the first stage, and they are overly precautious with many things, which is a good thing, obviously, all right, they suspended the launch, all right, until they could solve the problem and replace the sensor. Their next launch window happened to be this morning, Monday morning, at about 3 a.m. West Coast time, if I remember correctly. But when I got up in the morning, I watched the recap, which I have linked below, the YouTube video of the webcast. Watch it. You should watch all of their launches. They're absolutely fantastic and very informative. But it was just picture perfect launch. Beautiful launch from Cape Canaveral. First stage separation was perfect. And what was really cool, and I don't know that I've ever seen this before from one of their launches, or maybe I have and it just like hit me more this time, but they shot from the ground, all right? First and second stages separating. Like that you could follow the first stage all the way down. It was just, oh my God, absolutely beautiful footage they captured. First stage came down, they landed it back at Cape Canaveral, as opposed to on one of the barges, which means we had way better touchdown video. Perfect touchdown, everything was money, so resounding success. Yay. I mean, that's kind of what they do now, is resounding success, so that's awesome. But again, another successful launch, another successful first stage landing. We are, and every time they do this, one step closer to being able to retire on Mars. Let's let that happen. Fuck this planet. I want to go to Mars. So that's great news, and congratulations to SpaceX. Next up is robot fighting. Now, I've talked about this before with the Japanese and American robots fighting, but there's a new contender in the ring, China. This Chinese company called Great Metal has revealed a robot prototype called Monkey King. So it's just like the other ones, it's human piloted, but the difference is that it can fight on all fours, sort of like a great ape. Or it can stand up on two legs and use a staff, which is hugely different. Like, that's a game changing if they can successfully do it. Now, I watched their promo vid. I have an Engadget article link below. In it is a promo vid that they have. Their promo vid is very CGI, right? So you haven't seen an actual dude inside an actual robot spinning a staff around. So we'll see if it comes to fruition. But if they can manage to do this, it is going to change the game in robot fighting. Now, granted, the game in robot fighting is only just starting, so I guess this is the best time to change that. But yeah, that's awesome. I mean, this is like SpaceX, one step closer to Mars. This is one step closer to us being able to pilot Gundams, which is fucking dope, right? Like, that's amazing. So yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to see more information about this, and I hope that Great Metal is successful with their Monkey King robot. It's another contender. I don't know that it's gonna necessarily affect the already scheduled US-Japanese robot fight, but what it might do is it might promote more of a, like, all right, well, whoever wins this is going to fight China, or, you know, Japan and America are going to fight, and then China and Japan, and then China and America, we're going to do like a little triangle thing there. But it's good. I like it. I mean, I don't like robots being able to fight and kill us, but as long as they're piloted by humans, I'm okay with it. So China's in the race. I love it. More competition. And then last up is StemCell news, and actually fairly scary StemCell news. I was kind of surprised when I read this. So this Harvard team has found that 2 of the 140 stem cell lines permitted by the United States government have cancer-causing mutations at the genetic level. These have been used on people. This is stem cell research that has been used on individuals. Now, none of these individuals have shown any signs of cancer. However, it is an ever-present danger that such a thing could happen. And what this proves is that there's still more out there that we don't understand about stem cells. Now, of course, it's only 2 of 140, which means there's 138 stem cell lines permitted by the United States government to be manipulated and played with and all this kind of stuff that don't have those cancer-causing genes in place. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they don't have a different cancer-causing gene or something like that. We need to do more research. And this is a huge risk, and what this may cause is a governmental mandation of gene sequencing on stem cell research, which is, it's not prohibitively expensive, but it's pretty dang close to prohibitively expensive. It's an incredibly expensive endeavor to gene sequence something in its entirety like that. And to do it every single time to make sure you're not promoting cancer-causing genes within specific stem cells would be very, very expensive. That being said, the medical team are showing no signs of stopping. They're going to continue the research. Stem cells are the future of a lot of medical treatments, and they know this, and they know the risks involved. And so if it means it's going to cost more money for them to do their research, they got to slow it down. They're going to do more. It's going to cost more money. That's fine. But it is a concern that this is something we need to look at. We need to look at increasing the number of times we gene sequence things, and also the fact that when you're playing with stuff like this, you risk you risk this kind of stuff. These genetic anomalies that are that promote above average cases of cancer in certain cells. So it's kind of bad news. I mean, it's good that all of the patients who have been treated with these genes have not had cancer show up. So that's beneficial. And it also doesn't mean that we didn't find cancer-causing genes, but that they are only able to promote themselves under specific environmental causes or something to that extent. But, there's a lot to look at, and there's a lot to sort of study up on. It's going to be interesting to follow along with and see what happens. Again, I have an article linked below about it if you're interested. It was a pretty interesting read. I'm not much of a biologist. I'm more physics and engineering. So it was a little outside of my wheelhouse on some of the stuff, but it was definitely interesting, and it'll be interesting to see how the government responds to it and how the medical professionals respond to it in turn. But for today, that is it. Like, comment, subscribe, share this video with your friends, share with your family, share with people that you don't even like. I'm okay with it. Just share this stuff everywhere. Either way, I've been John Norgrove. This has been Nerd Jive. Stay nerdy, guys.